everyone, and welcome back for this week's new color palette challenge. We are still in Cube 2. This is the fifth one, so we'll be moving to Cube 1 next time. For now, we are still in Color Cube 2 by Sarah Renee Clark. Let me see if I can grab just one. Got one. 331. That's looking very autumn. We're almost into spring. But it looks like I get to try one more time with an autumn pattern. What do I have? Black. Yes, I don't have to call in on I get to use black, white, or metallic. Black is actually one of the colors. Dark brown, caramel, again, orange, and amber. I'm going to try and pull these colors together, at least 2 or 3 of them, and then we'll see what we can come up with. I am actually wanting to play with some new toys. Now, the sad part of this is Joann fabric stores are closing down. They're having going out of business store closing sales. Last week, I went a little crazy going all over the store because, of course, your art stuff is not all in one place. You have to go hunt. So I found myself a brayer, a nice little blender, and some stencils. I'm not going to be using a jelly pad today, but I'm curious about those 2 stencils. I have also bought some paste of different types, some pasting to see maybe in white or black, try and work on that. So I'm going to go into my bag of tricks and come back and we will see what I can come up with. For better or worse, I am back. From the last time I was here, I got that dark blue all the way through to other pages. So I'm not going to tape off. I'm just going to try and see if that gets covered. If not, I can always come back with some white, off white, and fix it in the future if I need to. I have started my palette out with this deep orange, a black, the golden honey, and then I've thrown a little bit of this yellow orange light, maybe mixing it with some of these other colors. I can get a little bit closer to this color that they're calling amber. So amber, orange, caramel, dark brown, and black. We're going to see where we go. I've got white. I've got a different acrylic black handy. Let's put this over here so I don't mess it up completely. I have some texture paste. See if I want to play with those a little bit later on. So we're going to put those to the side here. Mixing tool to mix with those. Sort of brushes. And I got some palette knives in case I want to put some paste on through some stencils. I'm going to start out with the pencil. And then I'm going to use probably both. Straight brayer. And then this is sort of a stencil roller. This is from Michael's. This is from Joann's. But it already has a pattern on it. And I've used it before, but I want to see if I can get a little bit of a pattern before even just going straight to the stencils. But first, I am going to take a good old pencil. Just a good old soft pencil, HB number 2. And I'm just going to go across here and make marks. I'm just letting my hand go. I'm not caring what it's looking like. I'm just going to let it go, let it go. We'll see what that ends up looking like once the wetness of these paints start to happen to it. First, let me see what happens with just a little bit of straight orange here. So getting it on my brayer. Oh, we got some black going in there. That's okay. And we got it over onto the plastic cloth. That's why we have plastic cloth on my table. So now I'm just going to go ahead and make a mess. Let's see what it comes up with. See what we get with some texture going on here. The marks may already be covering up, and that's okay. What does this do to it? Let's get that all on there, but I'm going to do a little bit with that brown. I'm just mixing it all up right now. Let's get it this way. Let's see what it does here. In my mind, I was seeing this over here. Again, I'm mixing all these colors together, so we are going to get a little bit of mud. Get my arm work out. what happens if I go through, since this is still a little bit wet. Actually, I like how that's coming out a little bit there. And that's coming out more gold tone. Maybe getting a little bit of that golden yellow that was supposed to be going for. There, whoo! That's nice. I always end up having a nice little mess that I have to clean up at the end of the day. Keeps me on my toes. Okay, you really shouldn't allow this to dry on here. So we're going to pause and I'm going to go rinse these off. I could just use some baby wipes, which is probably what I'm going to start with. And then I'm going to go rinse them off. But I'll be right back and we'll get some more of the paints out. And I have gone and cleaned everything off. Still always end up coming right back to the table and getting paint all over me. I've poured out a little bit more of the colors, the orange, the black. I've got that yellow orange light to mix down maybe to get to more of that golden color yellow. And I've got the golden honey to do some of the brown. This is some of the stenciling that we did with the stencil roller and then with just a regular brayer to get some of the smooth out. Now I'm going to see what happens if I mix a little bit of this brown in with this light orange. And am I getting anywhere near it? Let's see what happens if I bring that in. A little bit. All right, I'm just gonna start making some marks here, okay? With whatever paint I can grab over here. And I'm just gonna go with the flow. What is coming out of my arm, what to do around here. So that is turning into a little bit of that golden. And now I want to get a little bit more of this orange on here. And I'm just going to make some spots and everything. I think I might want to do a little bit of the stencil up there. You'll notice I'm doing what a lot of people like to do when they're just going to let the marks fall down on the page. They hold it a little bit to the side versus trying to make it perfect. They'll just hold it a little bit to the side. And I want to come back in here. Get some of that orange on there. Okay. And I'm just going to see what is coming to mind here. Putting some of that orange on top of that brown, orange, and golden kind of stuff, that color I didn't have, amber. Put some more over here. And I have no rhyme or reason right now going on in me. I'm just going to take it where I want it to go, where I'm feeling driven to go. And it may end up not being the best. I need to learn how to leave myself some negative space or white space here. And I always seem to like to fill up the spots. And a lot of circles and squares. So now I'm just laying down some paint marks here that are going vertical here. Some of them you can see, some of them not so much. Got a lot of orange and the browns and the amber going on. It still hasn't fully dried. Let's see how we got those circles here. What if I take this and sort of put it in between and do, I'm thinking, let's see, let's do a little bit of, let's bring this more up here. So it's still pumpkin, but it's a little bit lighter than that darker pumpkin that I've got down there right now. Okay, it's not perfectly blended either, and we're just going to go with it. It's okay to just go with it. All right, so this is a blender, and I usually use other blenders, not like this. So just going in here, just seeing what we see. Okay, oops. That's why sometimes you actually should stick these down. And now that's more of definitely there. So pretty on the page. We'll just blend over it and get some of this so you can see that it's going off to the side. And I'm going to see what we see here. And that just rinses off with water and some soap later on. And let's see what this first layer looks like. Not too bad. Oh, see, I like how that's going off to the side there a little bit. Now I had another one so that maybe we bring the circles on. This is usually used for the gel plate. I'm not using the gel plate today. I still have yet to do that. Now these are all going down like this. Do I want to put it down here? Yep, I'm going to put it down here. I'm only going to try and get some of these circles. Okay, I'm going to do it with black. A little bit of that orange, it looks like it's going in there. Do it with the black. With it being straight line over. Definitely dark. All right, and put that back over here. Just want a little bit of here. And you know what? I am going to put it in with the orangey yellow that's on there. Let's see what happens. Let's just go ahead with it and see what happens. I don't want the whole thing. Get some of that brown in there too. All right. Looking definitely on the darker side. I had fun with that though. So now, next. It's pretty much got a lot of what the colors are supposed to be. I like how that looks on top of that. I'm going to let this dry. I know I always say I'm going to let this dry. And then I think I want to maybe pull some white in. I definitely want to let it dry so that that white doesn't get too mixed in with everything. All right, so for the most part, this is dry. I said I wanted to add some white to it. I've got a little bit of this Trillium white, so really bright white. I do have some white paste hanging around. This is actually a sparkle paste. Oh, now this is all about trying out my new toys. So this is a white. We got sparkle. Got some black. And then I've got some of that orange or yellow, which might be, this is called Shooting Star Lunar Paste by Ranger. I might add it. You know what? I am going to add it. Where's my palette knife? Where's my palette knife? I'm going to use this palette knife. Now, I have no idea what this is going to look like. No idea. Ooh, it's shiny. Can you see that? Nice and shiny. Oh, you know it's got my attention. Let's put it on the back. I'm going to just spackle it on here, people. You ready? Where do I want to put it? There. We're going to put it there. And we're going to smear. Just smearing. Because I want to. And it's my party. And I'm going to smear some of this paste if I want to. Let's try and put it in the middle. Make some circles with it. It's just a paste. And this one is obviously a little bit on the metallic-y, shiny side. So it's got me all going happy. And I'm just using it to get it off my palette. But I can also use that as a way to get some texture in it too. And use some of the texture from the pattern that's underneath it from the stencils. So we got that. I'm going to let that go nice and thick like that. and see what happens. So that's the great thing about palette knives, is you can use them to dig on the paper. Good thing I put some paper under there. May not leave this completely with all that yellow on it now, but hey, it's looking pretty good. I like it. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm digging it. So I'm going to take it and run with it. And I can use a little bit of what I have here to even make some marks from the outline of this little palette knife. Make it look like, ooh, that's actually got some nice texture in there. Almost sort of like a bird went walking through the cement. Or a cat. Where are my cats? They'd probably love to walk through this right now. All right, so we got that on there. And I'll wipe off my palette knife. Just paper towel for right now. So now I've gone and done that versus the white. And I got all this white sitting out here. White still doesn't hurt. Ugh, I always get everything all over me. So sloppy. Which is actually a really big break for me. Not the accident proneness, but not leaving my messes. Or being okay with the messes. Okay, so what do I want to do now? I want to bring in some white. I would like to bring in more white. But I got all this nice and wet. Shall we just go ahead and live vicariously? Do a flat, or do I want to do a round? So I'm going to do a round. All right. I happen to have this 8 hanging around. So let's go ahead. A little bit wet. All right, let's see what you're going to do for me here, just so that we get a little bit white brought onto this page a little bit. It's looking very dark. I'm just going to make some splotches around. And then who knows, maybe I'll just go ahead and mix it in with, it will mix in with the paste. It's got a little bit of that yellow. I'm sort of liking it. Sort of liking how it's mixing with that. It's white, but it's got that orange tint in it. Okay. That's actually drying really nice. All right, let's do it. You can tell I'm dragging some of the orange in here. And I'm letting the bristles, I'm sort of fascinated at the moment with the bristles are making this really nice whirring in here. So I'm just letting them do it. Tried to bring some of it across here. Let's go ahead. And put my finger in it, of course. Got a hint of color up here. This is calling for some white over here. So let's go ahead, do some white over here. Too much, weight it down and then bring it back up again. Can always do that. All right, there's the white. I have enough white there. It's okay to paint over. It is okay to paint over. more just. Hmm. And that's actually because now it's dry, but it's sticky. Ha. All right. It had that extra in there. So now, and it's still coming through from the bottom. Some of that stencil is still coming through. I like that. And what you can always do, got a lot of white on there now, so we went from one to the other. Paper towel it. What can I bring forward? And I'm not caring that right now there's probably not fully dry underneath it, and that's fine. And now I've got that white. You know what that means that I want to do? Black. All right, I am going to use this different stencil. This is from Vicki Boutin, and so it's part of a 3-piece. I like it because it's smaller kind of circles, honeycomb, and we've got these larger circles here. I was in the midst of trying to figure out what color, because now I've covered up some of the black, but I want some of the black to come through again. So first, I'm going to just paint it. Make a mess. And it's okay, because paint can be cleaned off. Actually, let's go over here with it. I'm going to start with this, and we'll see how we do with this. Okay, so let's go ahead. And I just want to do a little bit. This is a little on the wet side. Very liquidy. My blender is over there in the sink. So this may end up going underneath the stencil, and that'll be okay. Live and learn, right? Dab it in a little bit. See what this is going to look like. I like those little circles right there. Let's see. All right. See if I can do this without making too much of a mess. Not too bad. That didn't come out the greatest right there. That's all right. Now just making some dabs. I'm just going with the flow. What's coming to me? No rhyme or reason right now with this. Seeing what just pops up and reveals itself to me. And that's the fun of it. And I am wanting to have fun. Nothing says that you can't have fun just because you're an adult. Or you have a serious job in your 9 to 5. You're allowed to have fun. You're allowed to be creative and explore. If I could get in those, and there's water on the brush, so it is sort of like a little bit squishy. Water on the brush, and this is a very liquidy black. Not as thick as my other ones that I get from Blick or Yvette Saint Amand. This is a little bit on the wetter side. I'm going to add in a little bit. It doesn't look like it's, so we've got a little bit of black there. And these are just going to be dashes. Going with the dashes up here. Dashes are little bird's feet. That's what they always remind me of. Okay. As it comes off a little bit, then they turn into dots. At this point, I'm about ready to let it go. Looks a little bit like measles or a reverse panther, but I got to play a little bit. I do want to let it dry, and I may just come back and do that again, but with this black texture paste, and see what that looks like. I put the honeycomb back on it. It's not completely dry under there. This is black textured paint or paste by Tim Holtz Distressed Ranger. And I'm just going to take a little, see what happens putting it on in just a little bit of a different area. It's a little bit off to the side a little bit. Just want to see if it's going to give it a little bit of volume. A little more oomph. Because we got honeycomb down there. So let's try. We got a little bit there. Let's try a little bit here. I'm liking those circles that it has. You don't have a palette knife? You can always use like a butter knife, plastic knife. Just, you know, be careful. That might actually look good if I let that get its way through. I have some on the palette. I have some on the palette knife. All right. Then I think it'll be time to let this just rest a little. See what comes up. And you know what? Just be done with it. You can always just come back and finish things at another date. If I do that, I'll just make sure to video it and show you what ended up coming up from it. So yeah, okay. So it gave it a little bit, it is a little bit more textured. I don't know if you can see that. Let me see if I can pick this up without getting a mess all over the place. So you can see it does have a little bit of, I want to say legs on it. So it's not flat like the paint. It is a little bit textured, hence being called textured paste. All right, I'm going to leave it like that. I'm going to be good with the black and the white coming out from it, okay? Instead, I always like to have color, but you know, why not have the black space and the white space, and let's just go with it and be okay with it. Hopefully. Let's see if I keep my word. I didn't put any sparkle on it. Oh, well, we'll see. It's got some sparkle underneath there from that Lunar Paste. So I'm pretty happy I got some of my sparkle metallic in. Always got to do it. So again, this was the palette 331. Black. We've got a little bit of brown caramel going on there. We did use orange. Tried to bring in some of that amber. So for better or worse, I think we got it in there. And I'm thinking it was a lot of fun getting to try out all my new toys, my Brayers, my new stencils, and my paste. Thank you so much for being here with me today. If you did enjoy just following along or just watching me try and figure my way out, and if you're even inspired to go try something yourself, then you know what? One of you does that, then I've done my job. If you like what you see, please, if you haven't already, subscribe, like, and share. I try to come on every Thursday between 6 o'clock p.m. to later on if I have trouble with my editing. Have a great one and see you soon.